Hey folks, Chip Richter coming to you. I'm in the golf cave this morning because it's raining outside, and we're going to talk this week about pressure tracing and the different types of traces we see and how the feet work and interact with the ground regarding like a linear trace or more of a heel-toe trace, how it can affect the path, and what you can do to apply this knowledge to make your game a little bit better. Now what you're seeing right here is my body track mat. You know I use this all the time, I talk about it a lot. You're actually seeing my feet on that screen and how I use pressure, measures heel to toe, front to back, and all kinds of other forces. But for today's topic, for today, we're going to talk about a trace that I like to work on called more of a linear trace. And now what I mean by that is, if you look at that screen, you're going to see there's a little white ball in the center that represents my center of mass of my body. And when I move back, in a perfect world, I'd like to try and keep that white ball pretty much in the center of my stance. I don't want it going way out toward my toe. I don't want it going toward my heel. When I shift back into the lead side, I want the same thing. I want to keep that center of pressure pretty much in the center of my stance. Not too heel, not too toe. Now, I'll tell you why that's important. We see a lot of people, when they get into the backswing, they get too much into the trail heel, okay? And then they're going to work into the lead toe, and that's going to cause a path that's going to work way out to the right, causing big blocks, and if you get the club face a little bit too left, causing quick pull hooks, and no one likes either one of those, okay? We also see people who get too much into the lead toe, and then work into the, get into the trail toe, and then work into the lead heel. And that causes a path that is more over the top, more of a slicer pattern, okay? Now, as much as I love using this mat to try to get pressure moving and get the pelvis moving earlier in the forward swing, okay, I also like to use it to make sure people are staying centered between heel and toe on the forward swing. So we want to do it both ways. We don't want to see a trace that looks like an EEG machine that's going up and down and all over. We would like to see in a perfect world as linear of a trace as we can get. Now, on this week's video that is attached to the newsletter, it's a V1 seminar, and it's a Jake Thurm analyzing Adam Scott's golf swing. And you're going to see a couple of things on that. A, you're going to see a very linear trace. It's going to kind of reinforce what I talked about here. B, you're going to see something that I talked about earlier, that when Adam Scott gets to about left arm parallel in the backswing, okay, it is at that point he's about 91% into his trail side. At that point, he starts moving pressure into his lead foot, okay? So he's not getting way back here, staying into the right, and then at the last minute going left. He starts recentering and going left while the club is still moving backwards. And I need you to do that as well. But in a perfect world, if we can do it, keeping on the center of the foot, staying very linear with this trace, it's going to be much easier for us to have a neutral path, okay? Now, check us out on the website, chiprichtergolf.com. You can book your lessons right there. If you want to go back and look at some of the old videos on YouTube, Chip Richter Golf as well. Hope you're enjoying the fall golf. It was a great time to play. Hope you enjoyed that Ryder Cup. What a wonderful week that was. Check out the Jake Thurm video with Adam Scott down below. You only need to watch about the first 4 minutes of it. You'll get the idea. Linear trace is a great way to do it, and the way to figure out what your trace is to come get measured. It's not something you can feel. Why guess what you can measure? We can actually measure your traces and measure your pressures and kind of get you back to where you can have a much more, very easy, a nice smooth path where you're not moving way too far to the right or way too far to the left. The more neutral we get that path, the easier it's going to be for you to play great golf. Hope you enjoyed this week's tip. Talk to you next week, folks. Have a great one.